Om. In today's session, we will look at a frequently asked question. How can I motivate myself to practice yoga and meditation? What to do if I'm uninspired to practice? Where do I find the drive, the momentum, the motivation to actually do the practice, to walk the talk, to practice what we preach? Are we ready to stand up for our own well-being? How can we overcome doubts, obstacles, laziness, lack of commitment? How can we maintain a continuity in our practice? We know that yoga is so beneficial for us. We have experienced these benefits firsthand. Yet, frequently, we don't get ourselves together to actually do the practice. Why is that? And what can we do to pick up the ball? How can we gather momentum to get rolling again? One of the most useful pragmatic approaches is to focus on the benefits. That is a very convincing argument for our more or less ego-centered mind. The question is, what's in it for me? Why should I do the practice? Please convince me. Tell me about the benefits. Show me the results. And if I know that the outcome is worth my initial investment, if I can profit from it, then I'm ready to invest. So that is a very useful approach to kind of play that game of the mind, knowing that these incentives, these kind of promises are helping us to get rolling. It's a bit like a carrot dangling in front of our head, and then we're just like, yes, I want that. So that can be a useful motivator to convince our mind to get on track, to actually get ourselves together and roll out our yoga mat and engage into some asana practice, to sit down on our meditation pillow and, in this case, not to walk the talk, but to sit without talking and just going deeper within, finding that balance, that peaceful essence in the heart. So the benefits, the results, the outcome is what is very convincing. So what you could, for example, do when you are practicing, you enjoy already. Maybe sometimes in between you take down a note like, wow, it makes me so happy, so proud that I can do this posture or something. Take a little note of that. And after a successful practice where you really had a good result, it helped you to fix your shoulder issue, it helped you to relax, to calm down, take a little diary of kind of success stories where you document directly after, almost during your experience, how amazing this yoga practice, this meditation technique makes you feel. And on a day where you have doubts, where you feel low in energy and lazy, you simply read through those old notes and you remind yourself like, wow, I forgot about it actually, but it almost comes alive again when you read through your notes. It's like, yeah, wow, I remember how good it made me feel. Like, let me try again. Maybe it will work again. It gives me hope. It gives me a perspective. It's a useful reminder to pick it up. So working with that result, almost goal orientation, is a useful pragmatic tool to get the mind on board, to get your achievement mindset rolling and to pick up the momentum. Yet we have to see that this is a somewhat ego-centered, self-improvement, goal-oriented approach where we have a very human mindset of reaching our goals. And whereas this is very widespread and common and so universal in the human experience and amplified in the modern times thousandfold with all the competition and comparison and social media and technology and this running after, it is in a way a very human experience to have this result orientation, this goal orientation, almost a fixation on the outcome. And it helps us so much to get motivation. Yet we have to somehow counterbalance it and kind of use it as a tool, as a trick, but not take it too serious, not get too contracted. Don't get competitive in your yoga practice. Of like, oh, I made it, I reached it. And like, sure, you celebrate a bit. Now you can do an arm balance and that's great. And sure, beautiful. It gives you a motivation, perfectly fine, makes you feel strong, all good. But don't go too much in this competitive thing. What the neighbor in the yoga studio is doing, oh, she's more flexible than I am. I also have to reach that goal. And then beating ourselves up because we're not good enough yet. Because that will not motivate you in the long run to practice more. But it's all too common, the mirrors in the studios where you can constantly compare yourself to others. Same as we have it in the social media with all these fancy Instagram yoginis doing the most amazing acrobatics. Looking amazing, beautiful, inspiring in many ways, aesthetically pleasing, but not necessarily healthy for the body. And definitely, in many cases, not realistic for me to suddenly do a split and a forward fold in the split, putting both feet behind the head. It's not necessarily healthy, and it's not necessarily beneficial for me to be confronted with that all the time, knowing that I can only do half of that, if at all, and then feel like a loser. So this is in a way one of the related catches to this goal orientation and comparing ourselves with others who have reached even higher goals and then making me feel like a loser, and then I don't even start practicing, and then I get even more uninspired and discouraged in that huge gap of not being perfect. So you see, hopefully, the catch in that equation. So be careful with that goal orientation. Don't overdo it. Don't get too ambitious. Don't overstretch and injure yourself due to the ambitious goal-reaching mindset. Find that sweet balance between commitment, engagement, and softness, relaxation. Don't go to the extreme of overcommitment, overstretching, or laziness, sluggishness, boredom, not practicing at all. So yes, use the result orientation, the goal perspective, but don't overdo it on this end either. Another more practical hands-on way how to get rolling for your practice. Even a little practice can make a big difference. So the regularity, the continuity of your practice allows you, even in a short practice, to get quite a lot of benefits. So it's in a way more beneficial to do every day a little bit instead of once per week a lot. So cultivate that regularity and experience how just a little bit of practice already gives you some benefits, makes you feel better. It's related to that result orientation that we discussed before. And when you experience it firsthand, that is in a way the ultimate convincing argument, your own firsthand experience. And even if you feel uninspired, you just keep that commitment to step on the mat and take a few deep breaths. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come into a standing forward bend. And after you've taken 3 deep breaths like this, you already naturally, spontaneously get hooked. So basically, you just have to commit to 3 breaths of practice. And naturally, already in the first or second breath, you feel this inner sense of, it's almost a pleasurable feeling of enjoying this stretch of the body, like a cat after sitting, sleeping, naturally stretches and enjoys a certain opening, lengthening, revitalizing. So joyful, natural and organic connection to your body, and experience how much the body loves to be moved a little bit, how beneficial it is to take a few deep breaths. And once you've done those 3 first breaths, you're very likely to continue at least for 3 minutes. Likely to even continue to 7 minutes. And once you're rolling, you might as well do another this and stretch it here and work it there. And quickly, you don't only have 7, but 11 minutes, and you're already rolling, and you might as well do another, and you have already done a nice 20, 30-minute practice, which makes you feel so much better. So don't allow these mind stories of like, I don't feel like it, and excuses, and I'm not so inspired, and I think it's going to be nicer to do something else, where we basically just distract ourselves, escape, avoid. And in this way, do a disfavor to our body by not moving it, by not allowing ourselves to revitalize with a few deep breaths, knowing that this kind of brings us closer to disease. The stagnation of the sedentary lifestyle, sitting around all day, is very, very unhealthy. And it's very clearly proven in hundreds of scientific research studies that this stagnation of sitting around leads to a variety of chronic diseases. Make yourself knowledgeable if you don't trust me on that one, but it's pretty obvious. The body likes to be moved. Give the body a chance, move it, and stay healthy. So even if you feel uninspired in your mind, let your body answer. And even if the body is a bit sore and stiff or something, still it will appreciate a bit of movement. And maybe it's not the time for a very challenging, demanding, active practice. Then do some yin yoga, restorative, calm practice. Do some sitting meditation. Some other more gentle forms of the formal practice, which might be appropriate in that life situation where you're not so well, where you have some tiredness or even some disease, flu, something. Still, you can do some deep breaths, some pranayama, breath work. And not just the formal practice. Go for a walk mindfully, without checking your phone, without having any distractions. Just a walking meditation in nature. And even if it is just a local, small, tiny park in your city corner, go there, touch the grass, look at the little pond or river there, and be present with the beauty of simplicity. Inhale the beauty and celebrate life in full intensity. Even if there's a voice in your mind being uninspired, depressed, bored, still, give yourself a chance. Allow yourself to enjoy life. See the bigger picture, zoom out, and don't get carried away and overwhelmed by these negative emotions. And if they come, observe them. Arising, staying for a while, and passing. And then maybe in the afternoon your time has come to practice. But usually the recommendation is to, right in the morning, as a first thing, do your practice. First things first. Make it a routine. Establish a beneficial habit. Replace bad habits with good habits. And then in yoga we aspire actually to go beyond habits. Beyond that conditioned mindset. and we allow ourselves to be free, then just naturally connect and flow smoothly in the formal yoga practice and in every moment in life. Even if the mind is uninspired, I am here. My heart is open and available, and I don't believe all my thoughts, because frequently they are not very beneficial. So choose carefully which voice you are listening to, and do your practice. It saves the day. Enjoy yourself on this precious journey. Namaste.